everyone, welcome back to GK Today. I'm Nuzhat Sana and in this video I'll discuss today's top current and static general studies questions for UPSC Prelims Examination 2022 onwards. And these questions are framed keeping in view both the factual as well as analytical aspects of UPSC Prelims exam. Also, I would like to inform you that these questions are part of GK Today's UPSC Prelims test series, which is available in GK Today Android app. And the test series for 2022 Prelims examination comprises total of 7500 questions, divided 2500 questions on current general studies and 5000 questions on static general studies. And the series has started from May 2021 and it will end with UPSC Prelims Examinations 2022. So if you wish to access all questions of GK Today UPSC Prelims test series, you may subscribe the test series in the app. So now without wasting any further time, let's get started.
So today it is our 11th lecture and now let's start. Question number 1. In which of the following states snow leopard is found in India in wild? So 4 states have been given and now you have to identify in which of the following states where is the snow leopard found, okay? First of all, the scientific name of snow leopard is Panthera uncia. And why these are important? Because they act as an indicator of the health of mountain ecosystem in which they live, okay? Why? Because they are the top predators in the food web, okay? Now let's talk about the habitat of snow leopard. First of all, they are found in mountain regions of Central and Southern Asia. And talking about India particularly, from west they are found in Jammu Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh, and from the eastern side they are found in Uttarakhand, Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh, okay? So let's see the options. Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh. Correct answer becomes all 1, 2, 3 and 4, okay? Now talking about the status of snow leopard, it is listed as vulnerable in the IUCN World Conservation Union's Red List of Threatened Species. Also, it is added in the Appendix 1 of CITES, means Convention on International Trade of Endangered Species. Also, it is present in Schedule 1 of Indian Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Also listed in CMS, that is Convention on Migratory Species, that affords the highest conservation status to the species. So this was the status of snow leopard at international level. Now talking about India particularly, like what are the conservation steps India has taken to save the snow leopard. First of all, it has been conserving the snow leopard and its habitat through Project Snow Leopard that was launched in the year 2009 to promote an inclusive and participatory approach to conserve them, okay? Then secondly, India is also party to GSLEP program since the year 2013. What is this? Global Snow Leopard Ecosystem Protection, okay? And here already we have seen that it is in Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act 1972, okay? Now talking in detail about these states. First of all, snow leopard is found in Jammu Kashmir and it is the largest continuous habitat for the species in India, okay? The species is especially found in Gurez, Tulel and Sindh regions, okay? Then in Himachal Pradesh, it is found in the districts of Kinnaur and Lahaul Spiti. And its potential habitat also includes Chamba, Kangra, Kullu and Shimla, okay? Talking about Sikkim, Kanchenjunga National Park is one of the areas where this species is found, okay? And talking about Arunachal Pradesh, the snow leopards can be found in Namdapha National Park and Dibang Biosphere Reserve, okay? I think now we have covered each and every prospect of snow leopard. Now next question, the MACS 1407 and Pandrinath 1 that were recently in news are varieties of which of the following crops? So you have to tell these varieties are related to which of the following crops. First of all, talking about MAX 1407, it is a high yield soybean variety that has been developed by Indian Council of Agricultural Research, and Agarkar Research Institute, that is resistant to major soybean pests like leaf miner, girdle beetle, etc. Okay. Basically, this soybean variety gives 39 quintals per hectare, making it a high yielding variety. Also, it is sustainable for the rain-fed conditions of northeast India. And now the seeds of this particular variety will be made available to the farmers for sowing during the year 2022 in Kharif season. Now you might be aware of the seasons that we have. Actually, we have three types of crops. First is Kharif crop. In this, crops are sown from June to July and harvested in September to October. An example of this category are rice, maize, jowar, bajra, tur, moong, urad, cotton, jute, soybean, and etc. Then second is Rabi season. In this, crops are sown in the month of October to December and harvested in April to June. And the examples are wheat, barley, peas, gram, mustard. And now in between the Rabi and Kharif seasons, there is a short season during the summer months named as Zaid. And the examples are watermelon, cucumber, muskmelon, etc. Okay. So this was all about Max 1407. And now talking about Pandrinath. This is a yellow mosaic disease resistant variety developed by Kashinath and Lokhande, for which he received the 9th National Grassroots Innovation Award. So this is also a soybean variety. Correct answer becomes option number B. Now there is one more variety of soybean named as Indira Soya 9. This is a rust tolerant variety that is cultivated in the Kharif season, and also it has moderate tolerance of girdle beetle, stem tunneling pest, etc. Okay. So you have to remember that these are the three type of different varieties of soybean. Okay. Next question. With reference to the geological faults in Himalayas, consider the following statements. First of all, let me tell you that there are three types of thrust in Himalayas. Okay. First is the main central thrust. It is located at the region where Indian plate crashed into the Eurasian plate in the Himalayan region. Okay. So first statement says main central thrust is located at the region where the Indian plate crashed into the Eurasian plate. This is absolutely correct. Now second is the main frontal thrust, or you can say it as Himalayan frontal thrust. This is actually the southernmost geological fault in the Himalayan region, and also it is the youngest one. Now let's read the statement. Main frontal thrust is the northernmost and oldest geological fault in the Himalayan region. So due to these two words, it is wrong, because this one is the southernmost and this is the youngest fault in the Himalayan region. Okay. So this is wrong. Correct answer becomes only 1. But let's see the third one as well. The third fault is called as the main boundary thrust. And this is another geological thrust in the Himalayas, and it is located south of the main central thrust. Okay. So basically you can say that the main frontal thrust runs parallel to the main central thrust and the main boundary thrust. Okay. This statement is quite important. Fine. Now next question. Which of the following government initiatives use socio-economic caste census 2011 data for identifying the beneficiaries? So you have to identify under which of the following initiatives or schemes beneficiaries are identified by the socio-economic caste census of 2011. First is Deen Dayal Upadhyay Kaushalya Yojana. This is actually a rural skilling program by the Ministry of Rural Development that makes use of the socio-economic caste census 2011 data to identify the beneficiaries. This is right. Second scheme is National Social Assistance Program. Actually, this program seeks to pay pension to the rural poor, and hence also it makes the use of SECC 2011. Earlier the beneficiaries for this scheme were identified using below poverty line data, but now it uses the socio-economic caste census. This is also correct. And the third one is Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Rural Livelihoods Mission. It was actually launched by Ministry of Rural Development for poverty reduction, and the beneficiaries are again identified by socio-economic caste census. This is also correct, and the right answer becomes 1, 2 and 3. Now apart from all these three schemes, the socio-economic caste census of 2011 data is also used for the identification of beneficiaries under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Grameen. And this is a scheme under Rural Development Ministry that seeks to achieve housing for all by the year 2022. Okay. Now in the previous question I forgot to tell you one thing, that why this question has been taken, why it is important, why it was in news, because a powerful earthquake measuring 6.4 on Richter scale hit Assam and other parts of Assam in the month of April 2021. And according to NCS report, that is National Center for Seismology, which works under Ministry of Earth Sciences, the tremors have been attributed to the Kopili fault zone that is closer to the Himalayan frontal thrust. Okay, you can understand the term fault as it is a type of fracture along which the blocks of crust on either side have moved relative to one another parallel to the fracture. Okay, so when an earthquake occurs, the rock on one side of fault slips with respect to the other. Okay, so this is called as fault. I think it is clear now. Now let's move to the last question. With reference to the world's most polluted water bodies recently in news, which of the following is our correct pairs? So you have to identify the water body and the country pair is right or not. Okay. First is Karaun Lake, Algeria. Actually this lake is located on the river Litani, which is the longest river in the country Lebanon and not Algeria. It is a kind of artificial lake that was created in the year 1959, and the pollution of the water body has led to a ban on fish in the year 2018. So this is wrong. Second is Citrum River, Indonesia. Actually this river is the longest river that flows in Indonesia's West Java, and it is often considered as the most polluted river in the world after the Ganga River. Okay, this is correct. And third is Potpe Lake in Serbia. The Potpe Lake is located on the Lim River in Serbia itself, and the river washes down garbage from landfills that are located on its banks into the lake, especially in the winters. So this is also correct, and the right answer becomes only 2 and 3. Now why polluted water bodies are in news? Because CPCB, that is Central Pollution Control Board, identified 356 pollution river stretches in India, and a study reveals that discharge of untreated wastewater is one of the main causes of river pollution. So till now almost 60% of polluted rivers stretches exist in the 8 states of India, and these are Maharashtra, Assam, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Gujarat, Odisha, West Bengal, and one more is there but I don't remember it right now. So do remember that Maharashtra has maximum number of polluted river stretches in the country. Fine. Now let me tell you some more polluted river bodies. First is Yellow River, and it is in China. Second is Sarno River, it is in Europe. Third is Burin Ganga River, it is in Bangladesh. And fourth is Marib River, it is in Philippines. So these are some of the most polluted water bodies in the world. Okay. So that's it for today. I hope you have liked the session. If you want to give any suggestion, review or feedback regarding these lectures, you can definitely tell us in the comment section. And now we'll meet again tomorrow with 5 more new and interesting questions. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe to GK Today. With this, me Nuzhat Sana signing off.